Hi everybody, it's Thursday night and this must be Now You're Cooking. We were supposed to have our friends from formerly Little Village Bistro in Wiscasset, which is now called Midcoast Provisions, and they were supposed to come tonight. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it at the last minute, but we're still going to be using their really delicious barbecue sauce here. And this is really fabulous. I've had it on pork and chicken and salmon, and tonight we're going to have it on a pan-fried salmon. They are Midcoast Provisions, formerly Little Village Bistro, is not a restaurant right now, but they are doing some wholesale business, so you may try some of their stuff at a local restaurant or inn. So before we get started, I'm letting my pans heat up here. I wanted to tell you about these two wines that we've chosen for our fruit-inspired dinner tonight. This is a Swiss Pinot Noir Gamay mix. It's a very light red wine and can be chilled and served cool. And then we have a Chardonnay from Santa Barbara, California, which is a little oaky, buttery, but not over the top. Also a really good match if you prefer to go with a white wine with your dinner tonight. So, as I said, we're going to do a pan-fried salmon, and then we're also going to grill some vegetable, but we're going to put a little salt and pepper on it, so it'll make it a little bit more savory. And then I have some rice, which I cooked earlier. Awesome rice hack here. Put your 2 cups of water, 1 cup of rice in the pan together, bring it to a boil, turn it off, and do not take the cover off. It's cooked perfectly. So you don't have to time it, and you don't have to worry about whether it's simmering or boiling too much or whatever. It's not going to stick to the bottom of the pan. It's absolutely perfect this way, so give it a try. So first things first, I have a piece of salmon. I'm going to cut this into 2, so it's 2 portions, and cuts pretty easily, or does it? So this is off the cuff tonight, so if I make any mistakes, it's not my fault. Just kidding, it's still my fault. So you can cook salmon skin, and if it's really crispy, it can be really delightful. But I'm going to show you quickly how to take the skin off in case you don't like the skin. So you want actually kind of a more flexible boning knife, but you want to get in between the meat and the skin right here. Can you see that? And then with the blade slightly tipped down, you're just kind of scraping along the skin. Skin comes off and you get your perfect piece of salmon there. I'm going to leave the skin on the other one. We're going to see if we can brown it up and get it crispy for you. So I've got the pans heating. These are both cast iron pans. The grill pan is awesome if you don't have a grill, or in the winter if you don't want to go out to your grill. We're going to do the fruit on here, but I'm going to get the salmon going first. My pan is nice and hot, so I'm going to put some oil in. Olive oil is not really the best oil for this, probably because it has a low smoke point, but we're just going to be on like a medium, low to medium heat. And as soon as the oil is nice and glistening, which it is, so I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of glimmers and shines, and you can tell it's nice and hot. So I'm going to take off one of my gloves. I'm going to be a little salmony. So I'm going to put a little pepper, just a little, I'm not going to overdo it. A little pepper and a little bit of salt. And I should probably make this finer instead of coarse, but that's okay. And then I'm going to take my salmon and I'm going to put it skin side up, or formerly skin side. And if my pan is hot enough, which I'm not sure it is, but if my pan is hot enough, then that will not stick. We're hoping for the best here. All right, so then I'm also going to grill some fruit. I have the only fresh, soft stone fruit I could find was apricots. These are a little beyond they're a little overripe. Come on. So I'm making this a little bit more a finer grind. And I'm just gonna lightly salt these, and that is just it's not supposed to be salty, but it will help bring out the flavor. A little bit of pepper, because I want these to be savory since we're serving them with the salmon. And nice hot pan here again. I'll let that heat up just a little bit, and I'm going to show you the pineapple. So instead of cutting it and trying to cut all the edges off and stuff, we're going to use this handy dandy pineapple quarter slicer from OXO. These things are amazing. They are, granted, a one-use gadget, which drives some people crazy. But if you like pineapple, it is the way to go. So it's ratcheted, as you can hear. So I just turn the handle and keep going. And if I was really smart, I would have measured it on the side of this before I started, which I didn't do, but I should have. So I'm not really sure when I'm at the bottom, but we'll just get the rest out. And then I'm just turning this to make sure it's cut. And voila! We have pineapple. Isn't that cool? And then I can just take the handle off. And there we have sliced pineapple. It's in a kind of a spring. So I'm just going to cut it there and there. And then we have halves. And let's see what's happening with our salmon here. It's actually looking pretty good. Yeah, that's nicely browning. I'm going to give it another minute, I think, on there. Turn the heat down just a tad. And our heat is good on this other pan. So I am going to I have a cloth that has some oil on it, and I'm just going to make sure that my grill bars, I don't even know what these are called, but you know what I mean. I'm making up vocabulary. Those are greased, so I'm going to just put these on. And the point is not really to cook the fruit, but more just to warm it up and kind of give it, I don't know, a je ne sais quoi. Heat it up, give it some grill marks, and then it's going to be really nice with that little bit of salt and pepper on it. We're going to drizzle it with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. These look good. I'm going to turn these. This is, by the way, one of my favorite spatulas in the world. It is also, I think, Mike's favorite spatula. It's technically called a fish spatula, but I use this for everything, from eggs to burgers to anything that I need to flip. It's a really fabulous spatula. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put some pineapple on here. And again, you can salt and pepper this a little bit. Just, again, it helps bring the flavor out, makes it a little more savory so you're not overwhelmed by the sweetness, unless you really like the sweetness. It's kind of like eating melon with prosciutto or something like that, you know, you're bringing that sweet and savory together. Okay, and I am going to put a little bit of the sauce. So this is the blueberry sauce. Again, it's made with real blueberries, and Maine blueberries are the first ingredient on here. And I'm just going to put some on there. It's going to sizzle up a little bit. And then I'm going to cover it. That's not really the right cover for this pan, but it works. So that's going to help cook it, and it's also going to keep the spatter from going everywhere. Let's see what's happening here. We got almost grill marks on our pretty little apricots, or apricots if you prefer. My father always called them apricots. And I mean, you can serve this obviously with grilled veg or baked potato or whatever. We just thought that since we had a fruit theme going here, that it would be nice to stick with that. Pineapple is not the easiest thing to flip, it turns out. And I'm going to turn the heat off under the fruit, because again, we don't really want to cook it. We don't want it all mushy. We want it to keep its integrity, but just to warm it up and kind of give it a kind of a savory feel. And I'm going to turn off my salmon. I don't want to overdo it. So you can eat salmon medium rare, medium rare, so there's a little pinkness inside. It does not have to be cooked all the way through, typically. That actually looks really pretty good, and it's pretty well cooked. So to serve it, I'm going to take some of my rice, and it takes still about a half an hour to cook the rice. So, you know, just your timing. This took 5-10 minutes. So you want to get your rice going a little bit earlier, but not too early, because you don't want it to be cool. So we've got rice. We've got a beautiful piece of salmon. And we're going to serve our fruit on top of the rice. And look how healthy. I mean, aside from the oil that we're using, it's really a very healthy dinner. It's a beautiful, bright, and colorful. You can grill other stone fruit like plums or peaches. You can grill melon, including watermelon, although it's very wet, so you just have to keep an eye on it. But with that fruit there, with the blueberry sauce, fresh, beautiful piece of salmon, that is a really nice, fairly light dinner. And it's going to be really delicious, and we're looking forward to eating it in a few minutes. Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm sorry that Midcoast Provisions couldn't be here, but come check out their blueberry sauce. It is so good. Blueberry barbecue sauce. It is so good on any kind of meat. I haven't tried it on beef yet, but I imagine it would be just as good on beef. Fabulous with pork, fabulous with chicken, fabulous with salmon, and probably with other fish as well. And thank you for joining us. Next week, we're going to be building charcuterie boards, and we're going to make some homemade chutney to go with it. So that's going to be a fun night, and I will be back next week, and I will see you then. Thanks for joining us.